Hi, ladies and gentlemen. We all know that success is a choice, but what most people don't realize is that failure is also a choice. The difference lies in the excuses we make and the decisions we choose to act upon. Tonight, I want to talk about something crucial, something that holds most people back from achieving what they want in life. I'm talking about excuses. Excuses are like the chains that bind us to mediocrity. They allow us to justify staying comfortable instead of pushing ourselves to grow. But the truth is, simple excuses don't build the life you want. In fact, they break the foundation of your dreams and goals. If you want to change your life, the first step is to kill your excuses. Let's be honest, no one cares about your excuses. The world doesn't stop turning because of the reasons you can't succeed. The moment you stop blaming external circumstances and take full responsibility for your actions, your life begins to change. Excuses are the easy way out, but they will never get you to where you want to go. When you make excuses, you're essentially saying that something or someone else is controlling your destiny. The moment you stop making excuses and start taking ownership, you regain control. You start designing your life on your terms. So what's the answer? It's simple: kill your excuses. You might be thinking, but I've got valid reasons. Of course you do. We all have reasons, but reasons are not results. And results are what we need to reach our goals. Today, make a commitment to yourself. Kill your excuses. Break free from the limitations you've been placing on yourself. Your future depends on it. Excuses are the enemy of success. Every time you make an excuse, you give up a little piece of your potential. Stop letting excuses rule your life. Excuses are a form of procrastination. They stop you from taking immediate action, which is the only way to move forward. The longer you wait, the further success slips from your grasp. The past doesn't dictate your future. Whatever happened yesterday has no power over today unless you let it. Don't use the past as an excuse to limit your present. Success requires sacrifice. You cannot have everything you want without giving up something. If you want success, stop making excuses and make the necessary sacrifices. People who succeed take responsibility. Successful people don't look for blame, they look for solutions. They own their mistakes and move forward, not backward. No one is coming to rescue you. If you're waiting for someone else to change your life, you're wasting time. The power to change is within you. Stop waiting, start acting. Excuses create negative momentum. The more excuses you make, the more stuck you become. Success comes from taking action, not from talking about reasons you can't. Your circumstances don't define you. External factors may influence your situation, but they don't control your destiny. You are responsible for how you respond to challenges. Success is about consistency, not perfection. Perfectionism is just another excuse in disguise. The key to success is showing up every day, even when it's hard. Excuses cost you time. Time is the one resource you can't get back. Every time you make an excuse, you waste precious time that could have been spent moving closer to your goals. You don't have to be perfect to succeed. Stop waiting for the right moment. Success is built by taking imperfect action, learning from failure, and improving along the way. Excuses keep you small. They keep you in your comfort zone, never pushing you to grow. To reach your potential, you have to step out of your comfort zone and face challenges head on. Your dreams are worth more than your excuses. Think about the life you want. Is it worth making excuses for? If your dreams are big enough, they should outweigh any reason to stay stuck. Your excuses will always be there, but so will your dreams. The choice is yours. Keep making excuses and stay where you are, or kill your excuses and step into the life you deserve. The decision is simple, and it's entirely in your hands. So let's stop talking about what we can't do and start taking action on what we will do. The future is waiting, and it's time to own it. Excuses are the enemy of success. They're the silent killers of progress. The subtle whispers in your ear telling you why it's not the right time, why you're not ready, why it's too hard, or why someone else is to blame. The truth is, every excuse you make is another step away from where you want to go. It's a way of holding on to the familiar, to comfort, to the easy road. And that road, my friends, leads nowhere. Here's the problem with excuses: they give you a way out. They allow you to stay exactly where you are, stuck in the same place, doing the same things, getting the same results. But success doesn't come to those who stay comfortable. It comes to those who refuse to make excuses. Think about it. When you make an excuse, you're essentially saying, this is as far as I'm willing to go. You're drawing a line in the sand and saying, I'm not going beyond this point. But if you want to build something extraordinary, whether it's a successful business, a fulfilling career, or a great life, you cannot afford to draw that line. Excuses limit your potential. They tell you what you can't do instead of what you can. They put up barriers in your mind that prevent you from seeing the possibilities right in front of you. Imagine this: you have a dream, a vision, something that lights you up inside. But then life gets hard. Things don't go as planned. You face setbacks, challenges, and obstacles. And what happens? The excuses start to come in. It's not the right time, I'm too busy, I don't have the money, I don't know the right people. The excuses give you an out. They let you stop trying, stop working, stop pushing forward. But here's the truth: every single successful person you admire has faced those same challenges. What sets them apart isn't that they didn't have reasons to quit. It's that they didn't let their excuses control them. They refused to be held back by the reasons life gave them to fail. The key to success is not just working hard, but working with a mindset that says, no matter what happens, I'm moving forward, and that means getting rid of excuses entirely. You can't be serious about achieving something great and still hold on to excuses. Excuses are the handcuffs that keep you from running the race at your full potential. They slow you down, keep you distracted, and ultimately stop you from reaching your destination. Now, don't get me wrong, life is tough. We all face difficult times. But the difference between those who succeed and those who don't is how they deal with adversity. Success is not about avoiding hard work or never facing setbacks. It's about how you respond when things get difficult. Do you make excuses and quit? Or do you find a way to push through, adapt, and keep moving forward? In the end, the more excuses you make, the more you're training yourself to accept mediocrity. You're telling your mind, this is as far as I'm willing to go, and that's where you'll stay exactly where you are. So if you want to build something extraordinary, if you want to achieve your dreams, you've got to stop making excuses. You've got to push through the discomfort. You've got to keep showing up, even when it feels hard, even when it seems impossible, and even when you don't feel like it. The most successful people in the world aren't the ones who have it easy. They're the ones who understand that life is full of challenges and that excuses won't move them forward. They make a commitment to their goals, and they stick with it no matter what. The road to success is never smooth, but it's always worth it. And the sooner you stop making excuses, the sooner you'll see the progress you've been waiting for. So ask yourself, what excuses have I been making that have been holding me back? What am I not doing today that will push me closer to my dreams? The moment you stop letting your excuses control you, you unlock the door to your potential, and that's where success begins. Excuses are the enemy of success, and if you want to win, you have to be willing to kill them. Excuses are a form of procrastination. They're the quiet, sneaky way we put off the things that truly matter, the things that will take us where we want to go. When you make an excuse, you're not just delaying action, you're actively choosing not to act. And that's the danger. Every time you make an excuse, you're postponing your progress. You're saying to yourself, not now, I'll do it later, but that later never seems to come. We all know the feeling, those tasks, those dreams, those goals that sit on your to-do list day after day, week after week. Why? Because every time you think about taking action, that little voice in your head chimes in with reasons not to. It's not the right time, I don't have all the information, I'll start tomorrow. And just like that, another day passes, another opportunity slips by, and you're still in the same place. The more you put it off, the harder it becomes to get started, and the more you convince yourself that it can wait just a little longer. Procrastination often wears the disguise of a good excuse. You'll say, I'm too tired, I'm too busy, or I'll get to it when I'm ready, but in reality, these are just mental blocks that keep you from moving forward. They give you a reason to avoid discomfort, to stay in your comfort zone. The truth is, the moment you decide to make an excuse, you're not deciding to rest or take a break, you're deciding to delay the results you could be getting. And delayed action means delayed success. Think about it. Every time you avoid doing what you know you should be doing, you're not just delaying progress, you're giving up on opportunity. Success doesn't come to those who wait for the perfect moment or the perfect conditions. It comes to those who act despite the imperfections, the fears, and the obstacles. So every time you delay, every time you make an excuse to not take action, you're robbing yourself of the chance to make progress, no matter how small. And let's be clear, progress, even if it's small, is the key to success. You don't need to take giant leaps every day, but you must take a step. And this is where the real damage of excuses shows up. They create a habit of inaction. Over time, you begin to expect delays. You start to become comfortable with putting things off. I'll do it tomorrow. Becomes your default mode, and eventually tomorrow turns into next week, next month, and before you know it, a year has passed, and you're right where you started. The problem is, in that year, you could have accomplished so much more if you had simply taken consistent action instead of waiting for the right moment, which never comes. Here's the kicker: there's no perfect time. Waiting for everything to line up perfectly is a great excuse to never start at all. The truth is, the best time to act is now with what you have. If you wait for the perfect conditions, you'll be waiting forever. Life will never hand you a perfect set of circumstances, and success will never arrive when you're fully prepared. But when you act, you learn, you grow, and you adjust as you go. The secret to success isn't in waiting, it's in doing. The key is to recognize that excuses are your mind's way of holding you back. They may feel justified in the moment, but they're not leading you to where you want to go. They're not helping you grow, they're not helping you develop, and they're certainly not helping you succeed. In fact, they're doing the opposite. They're encouraging you to stay stuck, to stay safe, and to stay exactly where you are. So how do you break the habit of procrastination, of making excuses? You make a decision, a commitment to act, no matter how you feel. You stop waiting for the perfect time. You start small, you start imperfectly, and you build momentum. Each small action you take will give you the confidence to take the next, and before you know it, the excuses will no longer have a hold on you. Remember, the biggest enemy to your dreams isn't the obstacles in your way, it's the excuses you make to avoid taking action. If you want to achieve something meaningful in life, you have to stop putting things off and start doing. Stop making excuses, stop procrastinating, and start moving forward. Because the longer you wait, the further away your dreams will get. But the moment you decide to act, no matter how small, you've already won the battle. And that's how success is built: one decision, one action, and one moment at a time. The past doesn't dictate your future. This is a truth that, if fully understood, can change the course of your life. Too many people live shackled to the events of their past, letting what has happened determine what they believe is possible for their future. They get stuck in the story of who they used to be, what they used to do, and where they've been. But your past has no power over your future unless you allow it to. It's easy to get caught up in your past mistakes, failures, or missed opportunities. Maybe you've faced setbacks, made poor choices, or experienced things that didn't go the way you wanted. And if you're not careful, you'll let those past experiences become a permanent part of your identity. You'll start to believe that because something didn't work out before, it's destined to repeat itself. But that's not true. Your past is simply a chapter in your story, not the entire book. Here's the thing about life: you're not defined by what you've done, you're defined by what you're doing right now. The decisions you make today, the actions you take today, are the ones that shape your future. The power to change your life is always in your hands, and it's in the choices you make moving forward, not in the circumstances of yesterday. Imagine this: someone who has faced financial struggles in the past might think, "I'm just not good with money." A person who's failed at a business venture might say, "I'm just not cut out for entrepreneurship." Or maybe you've faced rejection or disappointment in relationships, and now you believe, "I'll never find the right person," but that kind of thinking traps you in a cycle of limitation. You're telling yourself a story that's based on the past, but it's not the full story. It's just one chapter. The reality is, what happened yesterday does not determine what will happen tomorrow unless you allow it. Just because something didn't work out in the past doesn't mean it's a guarantee for the future. If you keep looking behind you, if you keep letting your past mistakes define you, you'll miss the opportunities that are right in front of you. The key is to shift your focus, stop living in the past, and start building your future. It's important to understand that failure isn't final. Failure is not a death sentence for your dreams, it's a lesson. Each setback is an opportunity to learn, to grow, and to make better choices moving forward. Every successful person you admire has faced obstacles, failures, and disappointments along the way. But what sets them apart is that they didn't let those moments define their future. Instead, they used them as stepping stones, as opportunities to pivot, adjust, and keep moving forward. This doesn't mean you should ignore the past or pretend it didn't happen. No, you should learn from it. But do not be bound by it. You can't change what happened yesterday, but you can take control of today. The key to unlocking your future is in the choices you make in the present. The actions you take now are what determine the outcome of your life in the years to come. If you want to change your future, you have to change your thinking. Stop telling yourself the same old story about how things never work out for you. Stop accepting the narrative that because you failed before, you'll fail again. Instead, start telling yourself a new story, one where you're capable of overcoming challenges, where you're able to grow, and where you have the power to create the future you want. Your past is not a prison, it's a classroom. The past teaches you lessons about who you are, what you're capable of, and how you can improve, but it should never be a blueprint for your future. You can take the lessons from the past and use them to fuel your future, but you must leave the limitations behind. Think of the person who once struggled with poor health but decided to make a change. They don't let their past physical condition dictate their future health. They take action today through exercise, better eating habits, and taking care of their body, and that decision shapes their future health. Or think of someone who's been in a difficult relationship before. They don't let the past heartbreaks define their ability to love again. They move forward, learn from the past, and become a better partner in the future. The future is a blank slate. It's a canvas waiting for you to paint your masterpiece. Your past, good or bad, is just the foundation upon which you build. The real question is, what are you going to do with the time you have now? What decisions are you making today that will lead you to the future you want? So let go of the excuses that stem from past failures or disappointments. Let go of the belief that because you've struggled before, you'll always struggle. Understand that your future is not a reflection of your past, it's a reflection of the choices you make right now. Every day you have the opportunity to create a new future. Every day is a new chance to decide who you want to be, where you want to go, and what you want to accomplish. Your past has no hold on you unless you let it. Your future is yours to shape. The best time to start is now, because today is the only day that matters. Success requires sacrifice. It's one of those simple truths that most people don't want to hear, but it's essential to understand if you truly want to reach your goals. There's no such thing as success without paying a price. You can't expect to achieve great things without being willing to give something up, whether it's time, comfort, old habits, or even relationships. Success demands that you make choices, often difficult ones, in order to move toward the life you desire. Let's be honest for a moment. If you're living the same way you did a year ago, doing the same things, expecting different results, you're not going to get anywhere. The road to success requires change, and change requires sacrifice. Every time you choose one thing, you're choosing not to do something else. Every time you say yes to something, you're saying no to something else. That's the nature of success. It's not about having it all. It's about prioritizing what really matters, even if it means letting go of things that may seem appealing but won't move you forward. When you're chasing your dreams, there will be moments when you'll have to choose between what feels good in the short term and what will bring you lasting success. Maybe it's those late nights you need to spend working on a project instead of relaxing in front of the TV. Or maybe it's the choice to say no to a night out with friends so you can wake up early and work on your goals. It's not always easy, and it's certainly not glamorous, but this is the price of progress. Sacrifice doesn't just mean giving up things, it also means giving up the idea that you can get everything without effort. Success requires that you be willing to invest time, energy, and sometimes even money in what matters most. If you're serious about your goals, you'll have to make difficult decisions, especially when you're tempted to take shortcuts or give in to distractions. You may have to give up sleep or a sense of certainty or even your old ways of thinking. But if you're not willing to make those sacrifices, you'll remain stuck, unable to break through to the next level. Think about it this way: if you want to get in shape, you can't keep eating junk food and expecting to get fit. You have to sacrifice your old eating habits. If you want to build a successful business, you have to be willing to sacrifice some of your free time and invest it in learning, networking, and building. If you want to become a leader, you'll have to give up the comfort of staying in the background and step up, even when it's uncomfortable. Success doesn't come without giving up something. And here's the catch: the sacrifices you make today, the things you give up in the short term, will pay off in the long run. The energy you put in, the extra hours you work, the things you choose to let go of, all of these will compound over time. While the world around you is choosing comfort and convenience, you're choosing growth and progress. And when the dust settles, you'll be the one who's advanced. The people who succeed are not the ones who had it easy. They're the ones who make difficult decisions to invest in their future. That's the essence of sacrifice. It's not about what you give up in the moment. It's about what you gain in the end. So when people ask you why you're putting in the extra work, why you're not out enjoying yourself as much as they are, you'll have the answer: you're investing in your future, and you're willing to make those temporary sacrifices for the long-term rewards. It's important to realize that success doesn't come at a fixed price. The cost of success is different for everyone. For some, it might mean giving up a job that isn't fulfilling. For others, it might mean giving up relationships that are toxic. For you, it might mean giving up the comfort of staying where you are and stepping into the uncertainty of what could be. The key is that success requires sacrifice at every stage of the journey. And as you grow, the sacrifices will become bigger and the rewards more fulfilling. But here's the good news. Every sacrifice you make is an investment in yourself, in your future, and in your dreams. Every time you say no to a distraction or a comfort, you're saying yes to the life you truly want. Every moment you spend working on your goals instead of procrastinating is a step closer to your success. Sacrifice is not punishment, it's part of the process. It's a trade-off between the easy road and the road that leads to greatness. And the good news is the road to success is available to anyone who is willing to make the sacrifice. When you're willing to pay the price for success, whether it's sacrificing time, comfort, or habits, you set yourself apart from the crowd. You prove that you're not interested in shortcuts or quick fixes. You're in it for the long haul. You know that success isn't a matter of luck or chance. It's about putting in the work, making the hard decisions, and staying committed to your vision no matter the cost. So ask yourself, what are you willing to sacrifice to get what you want? Are you willing to give up your comfort zone? Are you willing to sacrifice your time, energy, or even certain relationships in order to build the life you've always dreamed of? The good news is that once you make those sacrifices, you'll start to see the returns. The life you're building today, through every sacrifice you make, will be the life you live tomorrow. Success requires sacrifice, but what you gain from that sacrifice will be worth far more than what you had to give up. People who succeed take responsibility. It's one of the most powerful, yet often overlooked, principles of success. When you take responsibility for your life, your actions, and your results, you take control. You stop being a victim of circumstances and start becoming the architect of your own future. This is the fundamental difference between those who succeed and those who don't. When you take responsibility, you stop blaming others. You stop making excuses. You stop pointing fingers at the economy, your upbringing, your boss, or your circumstances. You understand that everything that happens to you is a result of the choices you make. It's about owning up to where you are right now and acknowledging that no one is coming to save you. The world doesn't owe you anything. Everything you have or don't have is a reflection of your decisions and actions. Here's the hard truth. Success is not about what happens to you. It's about how you respond to what happens. People who succeed know this. They understand that life is unpredictable. Things will go wrong, obstacles will arise, and mistakes will happen. But they take responsibility for their responses. They don't sit around waiting for the world to change or complain about how unfair things are. Instead, they ask themselves, what can I do about this? They take action, and they do what they can to fix things, improve things, or move forward in spite of things. It all starts with a mindset shift. Taking responsibility means accepting the fact that you are the one in control of your outcomes. Sure, you can't control everything that happens around you, but you can control how you react to it. When things don't go your way, it's easy to blame others or circumstances. But successful people know that blaming others doesn't get them anywhere. Blame is a dead-end road. It's a form of avoidance. It's a way of saying it's not my fault, and in doing so, you avoid doing the work required to change your situation. On the other hand, when you take responsibility, you're saying, this is on me. If I want things to improve, I have to take the necessary steps. It's about having the courage to face your problems head on and owning the fact that you are the only one who can change your life. Once you take responsibility, you stop being a passenger in your own life and start taking the driver's seat. Taking responsibility also means owning your mistakes and failures. This is critical. Success isn't about avoiding failure, it's about learning from it. When something goes wrong, it's easy to make excuses or blame someone else. But successful people see failure as a lesson, not a defeat. They ask themselves, what can I learn from this? What will I do differently next time? They take full responsibility for their part in the situation, even if it wasn't entirely their fault, because they know that in order to grow, they must learn from every experience. Taking responsibility also means staying committed to your goals. It's easy to be excited about your dreams when things are going well. But when the going gets tough, a lot of people quit. They tell themselves, maybe this isn't meant to be, or it's just too hard. But successful people don't quit. They take responsibility for their success, and they push through the tough times. They say, this is hard, but it's my responsibility to make it happen. I will figure it out. When you take responsibility for your goals, you realize that there will be challenges, there will be setbacks, but you're ready to face them head on. Another important aspect of responsibility is holding yourself accountable. This is where most people fall short. It's easy to set goals and make plans, but if you don't hold yourself accountable for your actions, those goals remain dreams. Successful people know that accountability is key. They set clear expectations for themselves and take consistent action. They don't wait for someone else to push them or tell them what to do. They create their own momentum by holding themselves to high standards. People who succeed also understand that responsibility doesn't just stop with their own actions, it extends to how they treat others. They take responsibility for the relationships they build and the way they show up for the people in their lives. They understand that relationships, like everything else, require effort, attention, and respect. They take responsibility for their part in creating a positive environment, whether at work, at home, or in their communities. By doing this, they build networks of support, trust, and loyalty, which are crucial to long-term success. Finally, taking responsibility is empowering. When you blame others or make excuses, you're giving away your power. You're saying, I have no control over my life. I'm a victim of circumstances, but when you take responsibility, you take back control. You empower yourself to act, to change, and to grow. You stop waiting for things to be perfect before you start. You realize that your future is in your hands, and you begin to make decisions that align with the life you want to create. Success isn't a lottery. It's not something that happens to you. It's something you create. And to create success, you have to take full responsibility for everything in your life. Your choices, your actions, your outcomes, they are all your responsibility. The sooner you own that, the sooner you can begin to shape your life according to your vision. When you do this, you start to understand the real power of taking responsibility. It's the power to change your life. The choice is yours. No one is coming to rescue you. This might sound harsh, but it's one of the most important truths you need to understand if you want to create the life you desire. The sooner you accept this fact, the sooner you'll stop waiting for external circumstances, someone else, or some miracle to make things better. The truth is, the only person who can change your life is you. For too many people, there's this underlying belief that someone out there, whether it's a boss, a family member, a mentor, or even luck, is going to come along and save them from their problems, their struggles, or their dissatisfaction. But the truth is, life doesn't work that way. No one is going to hand you success on a silver platter. No one is going to do the work for you. And no one is going to rescue you from your current situation. The rescue is in your hands and always has been. It's easy to sit back and wait for change. It's easy to blame your circumstances, your upbringing, your education, or the economy for where you are in life. But the moment you realize that you're the one who must take responsibility for your future, something shifts inside you. You stop being a victim of life and start becoming the creator of your destiny. Think about it. Success doesn't come to the people who wait. It comes to the people who decide that enough is enough, who say, I'm not waiting any longer for someone to come along and make things right. I'm going to make things happen for myself. Every person who has ever achieved anything meaningful in life has come to the realization that the power to change is within them, not in external factors. Waiting for rescue is the path of complacency. It's easy to stay where you are, to settle into a routine that's familiar, even if it's uncomfortable, because you're hoping that something or someone will come along and make things better. But nothing will change until you decide to change, and change begins with action. Action that only you can take. No one else can do the work for you. No one else can wake you up early, push you to learn new skills, or take the necessary risks to move forward. You have to be the one who picks up the responsibility. The moment you stop waiting and start doing, you've taken the first step toward rescuing yourself. Waiting for someone to rescue you is like waiting for a ship to come to shore when you've got a perfectly good boat of your own to sail. If you want to go places, you've got to row your own boat, regardless of the storms or the challenges. Here's the hard part. No one is going to rescue you from failure either. In fact, failure is not something to be rescued from. It's something you must learn from and grow through. Every successful person has faced setbacks, doubts, and disappointments. But they didn't wait for someone to pull them out of those situations. They faced their struggles head on, learned the lessons, and took responsibility for their next step. Success is not about avoiding failure. It's about overcoming it. It's important to realize that the sooner you stop waiting for a rescue, the sooner you take control. You're the one who has to take the first step, the second step, and every step after that. There are no shortcuts. There's no magic wand that will wave away your problems. But there is a process, a series of decisions and actions that will move you forward. The process begins with you deciding that you're no longer waiting for someone to come to your aid. You are your own hero. This doesn't mean that you can't seek help or support. Successful people don't do everything alone. They find mentors, advisors, and a network of people who can help guide them. But even with all that support, it's still up to you to take the necessary actions to change your life. Success, growth, and fulfillment come to those who are willing to take responsibility, learn, and take consistent action, not to those who sit back and wait for someone else to make things happen. No one is coming to rescue you because you're already equipped with everything you need to succeed. You have the ability to make decisions, the capacity to take action, and the power to learn and grow from your experiences. You don't need someone to come in and change your life for you. You have the ability to do that yourself. So stop waiting for the cavalry to come. Stop thinking that someone else will show up with the answer, the solution, or the perfect opportunity. The answers lie within you, and the opportunity is right in front of you, waiting for you to grab hold of it. But you have to take action. You have to step into the role of the person who shapes their own future, not the person who is waiting for a rescue that will never come. The power to change your life is yours. It's always been yours. You have the ability to make choices that will move you forward, to take responsibility for your actions, and to change your circumstances no matter where you start. No one is coming to rescue you, and that's the best news you can hear because it means you're in control. The only rescue you need is the one that comes from within. So make the decision today to stop waiting, to stop making excuses, and to start doing what needs to be done to create the life you've always dreamed of. You have everything you need. You just have to take the first step. Excuses create negative momentum. They're like anchors that weigh you down, preventing you from moving forward and making progress. Every time you make an excuse, you're allowing yourself to justify inaction. And with every excuse, you create a cycle that becomes harder and harder to break. It starts innocently enough, I'll do it tomorrow, or I don't have enough time, but over time, these small justifications build up into a massive barrier between where you are and where you want to be. Excuses don't just stop you from achieving your goals, they actively work against you, creating a pattern of inertia that leads you further away from success. Here's the thing, momentum is everything. In life, whether it's your career, health, finances, or relationships, you're always either gaining momentum or losing it. When you take action, when you push yourself to move forward, you build positive momentum. Each step you take reinforces your drive, your energy, and your confidence. But every time you make an excuse, you stop that forward movement, and what happens next? You lose momentum. Think about the last time you made an excuse. Maybe you skipped a workout, told yourself you didn't have time to work on a project, or convinced yourself that you weren't qualified enough to go for that new opportunity. In that moment, it felt easier to make the excuse than to push through. But what happened the next time you faced the same decision? You likely made another excuse. Excuses don't just delay action, they create a habit of avoidance. They erode your confidence, make you second-guess your abilities, and slowly begin to chip away at your desire to act. It's like trying to start a car with a weak battery. At first, the car might turn over, but the more you try, the less power you have to move forward. Every time you give in to an excuse, you drain your momentum, and it becomes harder to get started the next time. Eventually, you find yourself stuck in a cycle of justifying why things aren't happening. And the more you delay, the more you reinforce the idea that you're not capable of taking action. This is the negative momentum that excuses create. This doesn't mean that you'll never face setbacks or moments of doubt. Everyone experiences these things. What separates those who succeed from those who don't is how they respond when things get tough. Successful people don't make excuses. They acknowledge the difficulty, adjust their approach, and keep going. They understand that excuses are nothing but a form of self-sabotage, an easy way out that keeps them from facing the challenges that will lead to growth. When you consistently make excuses, you build a pattern of avoiding discomfort, and it becomes easier and easier to continue avoiding action. At first, the excuses might seem harmless, but over time, they start to define you. Instead of seeing challenges as opportunities for growth, you start seeing them as insurmountable obstacles. The negative momentum from excuses doesn't just slow you down, it changes the way you see your potential. So how do you break this cycle? The answer is simple: take responsibility and take action. Every time you catch yourself making an excuse, counter it with a decision to act, even if it's in a small way. It doesn't matter if you're not ready or if you don't feel perfect. What matters is the momentum you create by starting. Every time you push through an excuse and take action, you begin to turn the tide of negative momentum into positive momentum. That first step, even if it's a small one, begins to break the cycle of inaction. The truth is, action fuels motivation. The more you act, the more motivated you become. And that motivation keeps you moving forward, building more and more momentum in your favor. Each time you push through an excuse, you build your confidence, your discipline, and your ability to take bigger steps toward your goals. The more you take responsibility for your actions, the more you shift from a mindset of excuses to a mindset of achievement. It's important to remember that excuses don't just affect your immediate actions, they affect your entire mindset and outlook on life. When you're constantly making excuses, you reinforce a belief that you're not capable of handling life's challenges. But when you refuse to make excuses, you develop a mindset of empowerment. You begin to see yourself as someone who can take on challenges, someone who can overcome obstacles, and someone who can create the results they desire. This shift in mindset is what ultimately drives success. In the end, excuses are a silent killer of potential. They may seem harmless at first, but over time they add up. They create negative momentum that keeps you stuck, disempowered, and far from your goals. But when you choose to take responsibility, to act instead of making excuses, you begin to create a different kind of momentum, the kind that propels you forward, the kind that leads to growth, and the kind that ultimately brings success. So every time you're tempted to make an excuse, remember, excuses don't solve problems, they just create more of them. Take control, take action, and start building the momentum that will carry you to your success. Your circumstances don't define you. The place where you start in life, the challenges you face, and the setbacks you encounter, none of these things determine who you are or what you can become. Circumstances are external factors, but your response to those circumstances, the decisions you make in the face of adversity, is what truly defines you. It's easy to look at your current situation and believe it's a reflection of your worth or potential. If you're in a tough spot financially, professionally, it can feel like you're stuck, as if your circumstances are a prison you'll never escape. But here's the truth: where you are today is not where you have to stay tomorrow. The reality is that success isn't about where you start, it's about where you choose to go. Many people have allowed their circumstances to hold them back. They say things like, I didn't come from money, so I can't be successful, or I didn't have the education or the opportunity, so what's the point? But that kind of thinking is a trap. It's a way of letting life's obstacles define your possibilities, instead of realizing that you are the one who defines your future, not your circumstances. Take a moment to think about some of the most successful people you know or read about. Where did they come from? What obstacles did they face? The common thread among all of them is that they didn't let their starting point dictate their end point. They understood that circumstances are just that, circumstances. They are temporary and they can change. Your story isn't over no matter where you find yourself today. Your circumstances may be a result of your past actions, decisions, and circumstances, but that doesn't mean they define your future. The power of your life is in the decisions you make from this moment forward. If you're not happy with where you are, you have the ability to change your path. It starts with a decision to stop letting circumstances control you and to take responsibility for creating the future you want. The key to understanding this is recognizing that circumstances are outside of your control, but your response to them is within your control. You don't control the weather, the economy, or the actions of others, but you do control how you react to those things. You control your attitude, your choices, and your actions. That's where your power lies. And when you choose to respond to difficult circumstances with resilience, determination, and focus, you begin to change your trajectory. Some people spend their lives blaming their circumstances for their lack of success. They use their past, their upbringing, their challenges as an excuse for why they haven't achieved more. They believe that because things didn't go the way they wanted in the past, it's too late to change their future. But this is the most disempowering way to think. It gives away your power and allows your circumstances to control your destiny. You are not defined by what happens to you, but by how you handle what happens to you. Let me be clear, circumstances can be tough. Life isn't always fair. Some people face far greater challenges than others. But no one ever achieved greatness by being defined by their circumstances. They achieved greatness by choosing to rise above them. It's about understanding that obstacles are a natural part of life and seeing them as opportunities to grow, not as barriers that can't be overcome. If your circumstances aren't where you want them to be, you don't have to settle. You don't have to stay stuck. There's always a way forward. Your circumstances might influence the path you take, but they don't determine the destination. Your drive, your vision, your willingness to keep moving forward will define your future, not where you start from. No matter what your circumstances are right now, they are simply temporary conditions. What will define you is how you choose to respond to those conditions. The road to success is rarely a straight line. It's often full of detours, roadblocks, and tough times. But success belongs to the ones who keep going, regardless of what life throws at them. The ones who say, this might be where I am today, but it doesn't have to be where I end up. Your past might have shaped who you are today, but it doesn't have to shape who you become tomorrow. You might have made mistakes, faced hardship, or suffered from failures, but those things don't define you. What defines you is your ability to move forward, to take action, and to keep learning and growing. Take responsibility for your own life. Don't let your circumstances dictate your future. Your circumstances are just the starting point, not the finish line. The power is in your hands to change, to grow, and to rise above any difficulty you face. You have the ability to redefine your future every single day. When you shift your mindset from being a product of your circumstances to being a creator of your own future, you unlock a whole new world of possibilities. Your circumstances may be part of your story, but they don't have to be the defining chapter. You are the author of your life, and the next chapter is yours to write. So remember this: where you are right now doesn't have to be where you stay. You are not defined by your circumstances, you are defined by what you do with them. And if you take responsibility, learn from your experiences, and keep moving forward, you can create a future that is brighter than anything your past could have predicted. The power is in your hands. Don't let your circumstances control your destiny. You control your life, and your potential is limitless. Success is about consistency, not perfection. Many people get caught up in the idea that success requires doing things flawlessly, that they must execute every plan, every task, every move with absolute perfection in order to achieve their goals. But here's the truth: perfection is an illusion, and it's consistency that creates real, lasting success. Let's think about it for a moment. If you wait for everything to be perfect before you take action, you'll be waiting forever. Perfection doesn't exist in the real world. Every plan, every project, every goal has its hurdles, setbacks, and unexpected challenges. Success doesn't come from avoiding those challenges. It comes from showing up every single day and continuing to work towards your goals despite them. If you want to be successful, you need to stop focusing on the idea of perfection and start focusing on doing the right things consistently. It's not about getting everything right from the start. It's about making progress, taking action, and staying committed to your path. Consistency means showing up even when you don't feel like it. It means pushing forward even when it's tough. And most importantly, it means doing what needs to be done day after day, even if it's not perfect. Look at anyone who has achieved greatness. They didn't get there by being perfect. They got there by being consistent. They put in the effort. They learned from their mistakes, and they kept going. Consistency compounds. Small, consistent actions over time lead to massive results. It's not the one big moment of perfection that makes a person successful. It's the series of small steps taken regularly, even when it seems like there's no immediate reward. Consistency builds momentum, and momentum is a powerful force. When you consistently work towards something, you start to build energy and drive. One day, what seemed like a struggle becomes easier. You develop new habits, new skills, and new knowledge, all because you kept showing up even when things weren't perfect. You don't need to be perfect, you just need to keep moving forward. One of the biggest mistakes people make is thinking that they need to get everything right before they can take action. They feel like they have to know everything, be everything, and have everything in place before they can begin. But that's not how success works. Success is built over time, not in a single perfect moment. It's the small daily decisions you make that add up to big results. When you focus on consistency, you focus on the long-term process, not just the short-term outcome. Think about the most successful people in any field. They weren't always the best, but they kept improving over time. They focused on their daily habits, their routines, and their efforts. They didn't wait for everything to align perfectly. They just did the work consistently, and with time they became great. They knew that success was the result of their ongoing commitment, not a single stroke of perfection. Another key point is that consistency allows for growth and learning. You don't have to be perfect to learn. Perfection stifles growth because it leads to perfectionism, which often prevents you from taking action at all. If you wait to be perfect, you'll never start. But if you're consistent, you'll make progress, learn from mistakes, and adapt. The process of doing something over and over again allows you to improve, adjust, and become better with each attempt. It's the act of trying, failing, and improving that leads to real growth, not the expectation that you'll get everything right on the first try. Perfectionism, on the other hand, can be paralyzing. It leads to procrastination. The fear of not doing something perfectly can stop you from taking the first step. But when you focus on consistency, you take the pressure off yourself to get everything right from the beginning. You give yourself permission to make mistakes and learn from them. Progress, not perfection, is the key to success. Success is also about perseverance. It's about being able to weather the storms and keep going even when things aren't perfect, when you're not seeing immediate results, or when you face failure. The person who is consistent is the one who keeps moving forward, who doesn't give up after one setback or one imperfect attempt. Consistency means sticking with it, even when it's tough, because you know that success is a journey, not a destination. One of the most powerful aspects of consistency is that it builds trust. Trust in yourself, trust in your abilities, trust in your process. When you commit to showing up, day in and day out, you start to believe in your own capability. The more you prove to yourself that you can stick with it, the more confidence you build. Confidence comes not from being perfect, but from being consistent. When you consistently do what you say you will do, you begin to trust yourself more and others begin to trust you as well. Remember, success is not a matter of doing things perfectly. It's a matter of doing things consistently and with the right attitude. It's about showing up every day, even when things aren't perfect, and continuing to put in the effort. It's about making progress, not aiming for perfection. Over time, those small efforts add up to big results, so stop waiting for the perfect moment, the perfect opportunity, or the perfect conditions. Instead, take consistent action, learn from your mistakes, and keep improving. The journey to success is built on daily habits, ongoing effort, and the willingness to keep going, no matter how imperfect the road may be. Success isn't about being perfect, it's about being persistent, determined, and consistent in your efforts. If you commit to doing the work, even imperfectly, you will look back and realize that the consistency, more than anything else, is what got you to the place you've always wanted to be. Excuses cost you time. Think about it. Every time you make an excuse, you're putting off the action that could move you closer to your goals. Excuses are like a tax on your time. They take what you could be using to make progress and waste it on justifications and rationalizations that don't help you move forward. Time is your most valuable asset, and excuses rob you of it. Time is the one thing you can never get back. Once a minute passes, it's gone forever. And every time you let an excuse stand between you and taking action, you're letting precious moments slip through your fingers. Success isn't built on what you could do, it's built on what you actually do, and doing the right things consistently. And you can't do that if you're constantly making excuses. Let's face it, we all have the same 24 hours in a day. Some people use that time wisely and accomplish great things, while others let time slip away because they've built the habit of making excuses. The difference isn't luck. It's not about who has more time or fewer distractions. The difference is in how you choose to use the time you have. The person who succeeds is the one who stops making excuses and starts using their time to take action, improve, and move forward. When you make an excuse, what are you really doing? You're telling yourself that there's something more important than taking the steps necessary to achieve your goals. You're telling yourself that you're too tired, too busy, too overwhelmed, or too uncertain. But all of those excuses just keep you stuck in the same place, wasting time that you'll never get back. And the longer you allow excuses to control your actions, the further you get from your true potential. Here's something you might not have thought about. Making excuses is a way of avoiding discomfort. When we make excuses, it's often because we don't want to face the discomfort of hard work, failure, or rejection. But that discomfort is where growth happens. When you avoid the discomfort, you avoid growth, and you delay your progress. In the process, you're losing valuable time. Time that could be spent learning, improving, and getting closer to your goals. Let's take a look at a simple example. You want to get fit, but you're tired after a long day at work. It's easy to make an excuse to say, I'll work out tomorrow, I'm just too tired today. But in doing so, you lose not just one day's worth of progress, but you create a habit of putting off the work. And each time you put it off, you lose more time. That one missed workout leads to another, and before you know it, weeks or months have passed. The time you could have spent building a healthier body is wasted on excuses. The same principle applies to any goal. If you want to start a business, write a book, learn a new skill, or improve your relationships, the longer you put it off due to excuses, the further you get from your dreams. Every excuse is a little delay, a little pause that adds up over time. And in the end, you look back and wonder where all that time went. Here's another important truth: time doesn't wait for you. The world keeps moving, and while you're making excuses, others are taking action. They're using their time to improve, to create, to push ahead. And when you delay, they move ahead of you. It's not that they have something you don't. They just use their time differently. The time you waste on excuses is time you can never get back. Meanwhile, those who choose action over excuses are advancing, building momentum, and creating the results they want. We all have challenges. We all face obstacles. But if you're constantly telling yourself, I can't, or it's not the right time, or I don't know how, you're allowing those excuses to dominate your life. The cost of those excuses is time, the one thing you can never get more of. The time you spend making excuses is time you're not spending doing something productive, doing something that moves you closer to your goals. If you really want to succeed, you've got to stop letting excuses steal your time. Start taking action, no matter how imperfect that action might be. It's better to take imperfect action than to take no action at all. Because at least with action, you can learn from your mistakes and adjust as you go. But if you wait for the perfect moment or the perfect conditions, You'll be stuck in a cycle of procrastination, waiting for something that will never come. And while you wait, time slips away. Success is built on making the most of the time you have. Every day you have a choice. You can either use your time to move forward or waste it on excuses. The difference between the person who succeeds and the person who doesn't isn't talent, luck, or resources. It's how they use their time. The successful person makes the most of their time, taking consistent action toward their goals. The person who makes excuses lets time pass without making any real progress. It's time to wake up and recognize the true cost of excuses. Every minute you spend justifying inaction is a minute you'll never get back. The time you waste now is time you can't use to improve your life, pursue your passions, or create the future you want. Time is a non-renewable resource. When you stop making excuses and start taking action, you're investing that precious resource in your future. But when you let excuses control your actions, you're wasting the one thing that will never come back. So the next time you catch yourself making an excuse, ask yourself, what am I really costing myself? The answer will always be time, the time you need to build your dreams, accomplish your goals, and create the life you desire. Excuses don't just hold you back, they rob you of your future. Stop letting them cost you time. Start taking action, no matter how small, and watch how your life begins to change. The time to act is now. You don't have to be perfect to succeed. This is a crucial lesson that many people struggle to grasp. Too often we hold ourselves back because we feel like we need to get everything exactly right before we take action. We think that success is reserved for those who have it all figured out, who execute flawlessly, who never make mistakes. But nothing could be further from the truth. Perfection is an illusion, and it's actually the pursuit of perfection that can keep you stuck, while success comes from the willingness to act, learn, and improve over time. Let me ask you a question. When was the last time you saw someone succeed because they were perfect from the start? The answer is probably never. Success doesn't come from being perfect. It comes from being persistent, from taking consistent action, and from continuing to move forward despite imperfections. Every successful person you can think of, whether they're in business, sports, or any other field, got there not because they were perfect, but because they were willing to keep trying, learning, and evolving. Let's take the example of building a career. Maybe you've set a goal to advance in your job or start a business. If you wait until everything is just right, until you have the perfect skills, the perfect product, the perfect circumstances, you'll be waiting forever. Perfection doesn't exist in the real world. There's no such thing as the perfect time to start, and there's no such thing as the perfect plan. What makes the difference is the willingness to take the first step, even if it's not flawless, and then keep stepping forward, making adjustments along the way. The key is to understand that success is a process. It's not about the destination, it's about the journey. Success is built on progress, not perfection. The person who succeeds is the one who is willing to take imperfect action, learn from mistakes, and make continuous improvements. It's the small, consistent efforts that lead to big results, not the one-time perfect effort. Think about the process of learning a new skill. When you first start something new, whether it's learning to play an instrument, starting a fitness routine, or writing a book, it's impossible to do it perfectly. In fact, in the beginning, you might feel like you're making more mistakes than you are making progress. But here's the thing, making mistakes is part of the process. It's how you learn. Each mistake teaches you something valuable, and with every mistake, you're getting closer to your goal. If you wait for the perfect moment to start, you miss out on the learning process that leads to success. This fear of imperfection can keep you stuck. It leads to procrastination, to never taking the first step, to waiting for conditions to be just right, but life doesn't wait for perfection. The people who succeed are the ones who start where they are with what they have and adjust along the way. They don't wait for the perfect moment, they create the perfect moment through their actions, through their willingness to try, fail, and try again. It's not about waiting for perfection, it's about creating progress, one imperfect step at a time. Success is about commitment, perseverance, and consistency. It's about showing up every day, doing the work, and making improvements as you go. If you focus too much on perfection, you'll always be dissatisfied with the progress you're making. But when you shift your focus to consistent improvement, you'll find that progress compounds, and over time, your imperfect efforts will lead to extraordinary results. Let's be clear, perfectionism isn't the same as excellence. Striving for excellence means that you do your best, that you aim high, and that you give everything you've got. But perfectionism is paralyzing. It's about holding yourself to an impossible standard, and it often leads to self-doubt, frustration, and ultimately inaction. Excellence is about improvement, while perfectionism is about avoiding mistakes. Excellence embraces the learning process. Perfectionism fears failure. The other thing about perfection is that it often leads to a fear of failure. People who are afraid of failing hold back. They overthink things, they analyze every detail, and they get stuck in the planning stage, never taking action. They believe that success comes from doing things perfectly. But this mindset is a trap. Failure is not the enemy of success, it's a stepping stone on the path to success. The more you fail, the more you learn. The more you learn, the better you become. And the better you become, the closer you get to achieving your goals. It's not about being perfect from the start, it's about failing, learning, and improving. Here's the truth, you don't need to be perfect to succeed, but you do need to be persistent. Success comes from the willingness to keep moving forward, even when things aren't perfect. It's about building momentum and making progress. As you move forward, you gain experience, you get clearer about your goals, and you learn what works and what doesn't. With each step, you get closer to your ideal outcome, and each mistake along the way brings you valuable insight that you wouldn't have gained if you'd waited for everything to be perfect. Remember, success isn't about getting it right the first time, it's about getting it right over time. It's about taking action, failing forward, learning, and growing. It's about building the right habits, the right mindset, and the right discipline to keep going, even when things aren't perfect. It's the ability to adapt and improve that leads to success, not the ability to avoid mistakes or be flawless from the start. So stop waiting for the perfect conditions. Stop telling yourself that you need to be perfect before you take action. Start where you are, with what you have, and keep moving forward. The more you take action, imperfect action, the closer you'll get to your goals. And in the end, that's what success is all about, taking consistent, imperfect action and letting progress, not perfection, define your journey. Excuses keep you small. They limit your potential, shrink your ambitions, and trap you in a cycle of mediocrity. Every time you make an excuse, you're telling yourself that you're not capable, that you're not worthy of success, that you're not ready to take on the challenges that life has to offer. But the truth is that excuses don't protect you from failure, they prevent you from even trying. They keep you from growing, from stretching beyond your comfort zone, and from reaching the level of success you're truly capable of. Think about it. When you make an excuse, you're giving yourself a pass on action. You're allowing yourself to stay in the same place with the same mindset, doing the same things. Excuses are a form of self-sabotage. They keep you stuck in the same patterns, unable to break through to the next level. When you say things like, I don't have enough time, I'm not good enough, or it's too late for me, what you're really doing is keeping yourself small. You're reinforcing the idea that your current situation is the best you can do, and that's simply not true. The truth is, everyone faces obstacles. Everyone has challenges, setbacks, and moments when they feel overwhelmed. But some people rise above those challenges, while others allow those obstacles to dictate their lives. What separates those who succeed from those who don't is the ability to look at those challenges and say, this won't stop me. Success is about finding a way, not making excuses. It's about figuring out how to turn adversity into an opportunity, how to push through fear, doubt, and difficulty and continue moving forward. When you make excuses, you're giving away your power. You're allowing circumstances, fears, and outside influences to control your actions and your mindset. And that's exactly how you stay small. You're not creating the future you want, you're simply reacting to whatever comes your way. Excuses trap you in a state of passivity. And when you're passive, you can't make progress. When you're passive, you don't take charge of your life, you let life take charge of you. But here's the secret, you are in control. You are the one who gets to decide how you respond to challenges. The difference between success and failure is not in the number of obstacles you face, it's in how you respond to those obstacles. When you stop making excuses and start taking responsibility for your actions, you begin to unlock your true potential. You begin to realize that you have the power to change your circumstances no matter how difficult they may seem. Excuses also keep you small because they allow you to justify inaction. Instead of pushing yourself to improve, to grow, to try new things, excuses keep you stuck in your comfort zone. They allow you to settle for less than you're capable of. If you're not stretching, you're shrinking. Every time you make an excuse, you're giving up on an opportunity to grow, to learn, and to become better. The longer you make excuses, the more your world shrinks. You stop trying new things, you stop learning, you stop evolving. And over time, that small mindset becomes your reality. In the end, excuses rob you of the life you could be living. They prevent you from achieving your true potential. You might have big dreams, big ambitions, and a vision of what your life could look like, but as long as you make excuses, you're keeping yourself from stepping into that future. You're putting the life you want on hold, waiting for conditions to be perfect, waiting for the right moment, or waiting for the perfect set of circumstances. But the reality is, the right moment is now. There's no perfect time to start. There's only the decision to take action, regardless of how imperfect things may seem. What happens when you stop making excuses? You grow, you stretch, you take risks and embrace discomfort. You start to see challenges as opportunities and failures as lessons. You stop letting outside forces dictate your fate, and you take charge of your destiny. When you stop making excuses, you make room for growth. You start to see that you are capable of so much more than you thought. And when you start pushing your limits, you start to break through the walls that have kept you small for so long. Success isn't about avoiding failure or having everything figured out. It's about stepping up to the plate, taking responsibility for your actions, and being willing to face the challenges head on. It's about saying, I may not have all the answers, but I'll figure it out along the way. And when you approach life with that mindset, there's no obstacle that can keep you small. You see, excuses don't just hold you back, they keep you locked in a small, confined world of your own making. But when you step out of that small world and stop letting excuses run your life, you unlock the door to a much bigger, brighter future. It's not the circumstances that make you small. It's the excuses you make in response to those circumstances. And when you choose to stop making those excuses, you start to open up the world of possibilities that lies just beyond your comfort zone. So stop making excuses. Stop letting them define you. Your potential is much greater than the limits you've placed on yourself. Your future is waiting for you to step into it. And the only thing standing in your way is the excuses you keep telling yourself. You don't have to stay small. You have everything you need to be great. But you have to stop making excuses if you want to unlock your true potential. It's time to take action, to face your fears, and to step into the life you're meant to live. The choice is yours. Your dreams are worth more than your excuses. Let that sink in for a moment. The vision you have for your life, the person you want to become, the achievements you aspire to, the impact you want to make are all more valuable than any excuse you could ever come up with. The problem is, many people trade their dreams for the comfort of excuses. They allow the reasons why something can't be done to take priority over the reasons why it should be done. But when you let excuses control your life, you're not just putting off your dreams, you're giving them up entirely. Every excuse you make is a small betrayal of your dreams. It's a choice to put off what matters most for the temporary comfort of staying where you are. We all have dreams, but what separates those who achieve them from those who don't is the ability to move past excuses and take action anyway. If you truly believe in the worth of your dreams, you will find a way to pursue them, no matter how difficult or inconvenient it may seem. Your dreams are worth the sacrifice. They're worth the struggle. They're worth more than any excuse you can give. Think about the dreams you've put on hold. Maybe you've always wanted to start a business, travel the world, write a book, or simply live a life of greater freedom. What have you told yourself over the years? I don't have enough time, I'm not good enough, it's too risky, the economy is bad, or I'll wait for the perfect moment. These are all excuses, temporary justifications for not taking action. But let me ask you this, how long are you willing to let your dreams be sidelined by excuses? Every day you delay is a day you'll never get back. Time waits for no one. And the longer you sit on your dreams, the more you risk losing the opportunity to make them a reality. Here's the thing about excuses, they're comfortable. They keep you in your comfort zone where nothing changes and nothing challenges you. But comfort does not lead to progress. Comfort does not lead to achievement. It may feel safe in the moment, but it also keeps you small. Your dreams require discomfort. They require stepping outside of the familiar, taking risks, and making sacrifices. It's easy to stay where you are and tell yourself you'll get to your dreams someday, but someday never comes unless you make the decision today to prioritize your dreams over your excuses. Think about the people who have achieved extraordinary things. Did they have perfect circumstances? No. Did they have the ideal conditions to pursue their dreams? No. But what they had was a deep belief that their dreams were worth more than the excuses they could make. They chose action over inaction. They chose effort over ease. And because of that, they turned their dreams into reality. You have the same choice. You can either make excuses and stay stuck where you are, or you can choose to take action, even imperfect action, and get closer to your dreams. Now, don't get me wrong, life can be challenging. There are real obstacles, real difficulties, and moments when it feels like everything is working against you. But here's the truth, you can't wait for all the stars to align. You can't wait for the right moment, the right opportunity, or the right amount of resources. The most successful people are not the ones who had everything in place, they're the ones who made things happen, despite the challenges. They knew that their dreams were worth more than any obstacle that stood in their way. Excuses are the language of the ordinary. They are what people say when they don't want to confront the hard work and discipline required to achieve something extraordinary. But you are capable of more than ordinary. Your dreams, your goals, and your vision for your life are worth much more than the temporary comfort of staying in your current situation. Your dreams are worth more than the fear that holds you back, the doubts that linger in your mind, and the distractions that pull you off course. Your dreams are worth the commitment to take action even when it feels uncomfortable. Think about the person you want to become, the person you could be if you didn't let excuses hold you back. That person is already inside you, waiting for you to take the first step. The life you want to create is already within your grasp. The only thing standing between where you are now and where you want to be is the choice you make today. Will you let your excuses control your future, or will you choose to prioritize your dreams no matter what?